Now let me explain what's going on with these smart meters. Smart meters will allow you to actually monitor how much energy your family is using by the month, by the week, by the day, or even by the hour. So coupled with other technologies, this is going to help you manage your electricity use and your budget at the same time, allowing you to conserve electricity during times when prices are highest, like hot summer days. And all this information will help increase renewable energy generation, provide support for plug-in electric vehicles, and reduce the carbon pollution that causes climate change.
I was trying to help the man. He's so bad.
We are now entering the brave new world of smart meters. That means your electric meter will do so much more than just show how much electricity you use. The new smart meters are watching you. They sense all kinds of goings-on. They see when you turn something on or off. They see how many watts your electric toothbrush pulls. They send the record of that little event over wireless networks, bouncing through your neighbor's smart meters, all the way to the power company, where they keep record of all your electric consumption, volumes, and patterns every minute of every day, and store that data forever on computers that you'll never get to see.
Power company admits smart meters overcharging. Oh, it's an accident. We doubled your prices once the smart meter went in. They tell you it's going to save you money, and that they're going to control it. But really, it's there to create the algorithms to track what's happening and rip you off, and I know you're going to love it.
Someone started all of this, and I'm going to find them.
Your electricity company will use this information to understand when and how they can move electricity around so it's there when and where you need it.
I have no power, I'm not able to work. Looks like the meter is off. So we'll see what we can do. I'm going to open this thing up and I'm going to check to see why it's off.
Okay, so once again, have PG&E power here. One leg, second leg, both legs, and we have no power here, one leg here. Therefore, problem is here. And we've been waiting 8 hours for PG&E, so fuck them.
This is your personal private life going straight out through your electric meter to the power company, to the government, to the police, to the insurance company, to anyone who cuts a deal with your power company to look at your life under a microscope. Sorry, it's actually worse than that. People who don't cut a deal can get your information too by simply intercepting the wireless signal spewing from the side of your house. Yes, smart meters are radio transmitters.
All transmitters work on direct current. They take the alternating current from the utility and use the switching power supply to make the direct current. Well, that's how all transmitters make dirty electricity, because the switching power supply interrupts the current flow and puts this dirty electricity back into the wires, just the same way cell towers do it. The idea about the meters was they were supposed to put into a smart grid, which would actually measure power use by the various devices in your house, your stove, your fridge, your TV, and these would all talk to your smart meter, and the utility could perhaps optimize the drain on the grid, which means that they could, at the push of a button, they could shut you off before they had to come out and unhook you. But the smart grid is just going to mean more radio frequency and microwave radiation in your house, and it's again, it's not an elective thing, because probably down the line you won't be able to buy a stove or a fridge without this capability. So I just think the whole thing is nuts.
I studied physics in college for over a year, and but seeing the theory in practice here, seeing it really, what really happens with these fields is pretty amazing and kind of scary a little bit.
I'm standing about a third of the way from the smart meter to the eucalyptus tree that for almost a decade had a large hive of European honeybees in it, and I'm holding here a electrosmog meter that measures frequencies, and what it's showing me is that there's 110 milliwatts per square meter every 3 to 5 minutes when PG&E told me that it would be once a day for 30 to 40 seconds.
And now there's no more bees.
And now there's no more bees.
If you let your power company put a smart meter on your house, you may as well walk around all day with a Facebook helmet webcam pointed at yourself. They have convinced themselves installing smart meters is lawful by some reaching to the moon jive called implied consent. If you say they can change your meter, they pretend you consent even when you don't know really what they're doing.
So there's the big brother aspect of it, and it's coming right into your home. The other thing that I didn't really completely understand until I went to the Agenda 21 conference was the actual physical, medical aspect of it, of your health. And there were people there that were talking about how sick they were getting from the EMF, RF frequencies that are being emitted by these devices. And that there were some doctors there, some PhDs that had treated people and were actually studying the effects of this. And they were saying that, you know, some of the symptoms are, you know, that you can't sleep, that you've got nausea, that you've got, you know, a heavy feeling in your sinuses and head, that you can't think straight, that you have just the ringing in the ears, but all kinds of symptoms related to this.
Well, they call them smart because they're trying to fool us into thinking that they're good. Calling them murders is because they do radiate hazardous frequencies, and that's going to cause a lot of problems with people. It causes health issues, it causes discomfort, it causes issues with the brain, ringing in the ears. A lot of people we know are very uncomfortable when they're around smart meters.
Smart meters are bad in that in the last couple of weeks I've had a couple women call me who had to move out of our homes when the smart meters got put in their neighborhood. They got that sick that quickly before the meter even hit their house.
And Central Maine Power says there is no reason to be concerned about smart meters. There are no health effects, and everyone who's worried about health effects of RF from smart meters or from the mesh network really has nothing to be concerned about. And what do you say to that?
I say that's absolutely false. The question to ask them is, what is the evidence that smart meters are safe and have no adverse health effects? And the answer to that question is that there is no such evidence. And in fact, while no one has actually done human health studies in relation to people living in homes with smart meters, we have evidence from a whole variety of other sources of radio frequency exposure that demonstrates convincingly and consistently that exposure to radio frequency radiation at elevated levels for long periods of time increases the risk of cancer, increases the damage to the nervous system, causes electrosensitivity, has adverse reproductive effects, and a variety of other effects on different organ systems. I'm David Carpenter. I'm a public health physician. I graduated from Harvard Medical School, and I worked for the New York State Department of Health for 18 years. During that period of time, I was responsible for administering a program in electromagnetic fields. I subsequently became the Dean of the School of Public Health, and presently I'm a faculty member in the School of Public Health and the director of the Institute for Health and the Environment at the University of Albany.
Already, the police in Ohio, Texas, British Columbia, and places I don't know about are regularly using smart meter data to pinpoint marijuana grow houses, enforce business licenses, and punish people for doing things in the privacy of their own homes that you were not supposed to do, but they wouldn't even know you were doing if they weren't spying on you.
The thing I don't like about them is they transmit in the megahertz range, in the microwave range, either through air or down wires. And there was a type of smart meter, there is a type in use in other places, which is even worse. It actually sends the signal down the wires to the substation. And I've seen tracings, oscilloscope tracings in a house without a meter on it, with meters in the neighborhood, showing that the meter signal In this case, it was really identifiable because it was only 6 cycles a second, which is really unusual, really low. That's where your brainwave is. And you could see the signal in this woman's house. She was electrosensitive. That's why she paid somebody to come and measure her house. And it was making her sick without her having a meter. So it proves that these meters in the neighborhood were contaminating her living space.
Those friendly men with their truckload of smart meters are going door to door with something a little different than a Christmas carol, that they plan to put a smart meter on every house in America. If they do that, it will no longer be America.
The smart murder meter, the one that emits radiation and things of that nature.
This is it.
Low frequency waves.
This is it.
My God Almighty, and this is mandatory? Are they saying it's mandatory?
They're telling us it's mandatory.
What do you think about this, Luke?
It's not mandatory on my house. I'm not going to allow them to put one on my house. It's designed to monitor and control us in our own homes. And you notice the writing on the label here? There's no UL Underwriter Laboratory label on it, which most electrical devices have.
I was just horrified to find that I have a smart meter on my home, and I tried to refuse it, and they came in anyway and put it on, and I did not know that that you can refuse, you can say no to this smart meter.
That data shows when you are at home, shows when you're sleeping, shows when you're on vacation, when you have visitors, when you use a lamp, a power tool, some extra computers, and if you look like you're running a business out of your home. It even senses when you bootleg energy off the grid. Your smart meter data shows a vivid profile of your personal living patterns and whether or not you were at home on the night of the murder. This is not electrical metering. This is personal surveillance. This is a search without a warrant every day.
And the other thing I don't like about it, it's a completely involuntary thing. They just slap it on your house and say, love it or leave it. I mean, if you don't like it, we'll shut your electricity off. The other thing about it that's bad is they're very liable to computer hacking. You can't hack the old meters because they're analog.
My personal opinion is that you and I need to demand that these things be taken off our homes. It is not possible for your power company to claim they have the right to install a surveillance device on your house. Smart meters are no different from wiretapping devices.
Well, it should be up to each individual to identify whether or not they want to be continuously exposed 24/7 to elevated levels of radio frequency radiation. The smart meter is for the benefit of the utility, saves them money because they don't have to then have people going out reading the meters. And it's at the expense of the consumer who has to live in the house that has this constant exposure. So an informed person should demand that they be allowed to keep their analog meter.
Here's a tip. Tell them they can't change your meter. They had no trouble billing you with the old meter. If you send them a notice by certified mail that they may not install a smart meter or any other surveillance device on your house, their implied consent goes out the window. I would do that if I were you. In fact, I did that, and I'm not even you.
We put up these screens to say to PG&E that we do not want smart meters here at Marina Meadows Apartments. We have 70 families here, and we're trying to protect the families because smart meters are bad for the health of the individual. It's EMF radiation, and we just don't want them here because of major problems of hacking, health, and EMF radiation. And that's why we put the signs up. That's why we put the screens up.
Your power company apparently gets to sell your personal life story to whomever it wants. Any unusual power consumption pattern is considered probable cause to raid you for growing marijuana or running a computer server without a business license. This is about as big brother as it gets.
Go to refusesmartmeters.com and to get more information.